And we are live with the last major draft of the year. Season starts on Tuesday, and this is my big money league. This is the private league, non-public. And this is where we have some really, really good managers. And so we got 3 minutes left. I have the fifth pick. I'm already locked in. So I'm hoping that while these managers are good, I'm hoping that somebody makes a crazy mistake early on. Like, is there a freak incident where Wemby falls to 5? I don't know. But that would be absolutely wonderful. Oh, advertisement. Peace. So yeah, we got 2 minutes, just about 3 minutes left. And what I have here is my draft room, which are my statistics that are completely tailored to this league. Now, this league is a 9-category, 1-win format. So if you win your week, 9-0, or if you win your week, 5-4, same exact thing. Let's move the mic up a little more. So same exact thing. So in a league like this, it makes sense to concentrate your statistics. And knowing this league, I already have the thesis going in. Still need to be nimble, see if things change up. But this league tends to not value big men as much as a standard league. So I have a feeling that some good quality big men are going to fall way later than normally. So my strategy at the forefront is to draft with small guys, not so much small guys, but not centers, because I believe there's going to be a glut of centers at the end of this draft. That's my hot take. My first pick, I'm projected to take an Anthony Davis. I think he's the most likely pick that's going to fall to me. That's like kind of my worst case scenario. If AD doesn't fall to me, that means that I'm pretty much getting SGA or Wembanyama. I think number 1 is going to go Jokic, knowing this league. Number 2, maybe Doncic. Number 3 is probably Wemby. Number 4 is probably SGA. Number 5, Wemby, or sorry, number 5, blah, blah, blah. Number 5, AD will be my spot here. I feel like AD, when the rubber meets the road, is a better player than Giannis this season, because I think AD is going to hit 1-3 a game. I think he's going to be really good if his body holds up. So if AD is healthy, I have him projected to be a top 5 player. And when I isolate the stats to just elite players, I've stripped this down to just the elite players. AD comes out to the number 3rd overall value according to average statistics. So we'll see how that holds up. And I've gotten a little complex here with my projections. Reason being is that you need to kind of think about the way you're picking. So I've actually separated out, just for a little research, I've separated out the elite players and just the big men according to this draft. But I got a lot of little funny items on the bottom here. But for this draft, I'm just going to stick to 2 tabs, which is my projections and my draft board. I'm going to try to draft for, not so much draft for balance. I feel like I'm going to get AD number 1. It depends who I'm going to get number 2. Okay, we're 10 seconds away. Fingers crossed somebody makes a big mistake and gives me an unbelievable player. Let's dig in. Action begins. And one important thing here too that I love is acting quickly. You need to act quickly. Jokic goes quick number 1. Act quickly to put pressure on the manager behind you. First few rounds kind of play themselves out. Wemby goes 2. Okay, so we don't even think. AD is going to go easy to me. Let's do it this way. Let's take SGA, then AD. Very simple. And we'll make quick decisions here. If AD goes, fine. I mean, SGA would be a dream here. I'd love SGA. But I haven't done many mock draft practices with SGA. We are in it. Been waiting so long to get this draft going. Big money draft here with a couple big side pots. So it's a base $500 buy-in. And me and another manager have a pretty sizable side bet. Can't disclose that amount, but it is steep. It is steep. It is steep. The biggest bet I've ever made in fantasy sports. But we got a nice big draft here. Wow, he's thinking. He's thinking, which means there's a chance he could go AD. Do it. Make a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake. Every draft has a mistake. Let's see. Make a mistake. Okay. Wow, he's clocking it down. Oh, he takes SGA. Super standard. Everything is so standard here. Our spot is an Anthony Davis. He is just the consensus guy. Bink. Already have accounted for that. Okay. So this is going as normally as I thought. Now with the number 2 pick, Domantas Sabonis has fallen to me a couple times. Giannis going number 6. Again, totally standard. Everything is good. Things could get a little shaky here. Let's like, is AD going to catch a high bid here maybe? But I have Domantas Sabonis. I'd like to catch Domantas Sabonis on the turn. I'd also, this is controversial. I'd like to grab a Jalen Brunson. He's so solid across the board. I feel like he's also a good target for my number 2 pick. But if Sabonis goes to me, I'd be really content to grab him here. The one guy that I'm afraid of falling to me is a Joel Embiid. I feel like this league is going to be a little trepidatious with the Joel Embiid. I may even fade him at the second pick. I may fade him second round. I don't think I could fade him on the third round, but my picks have looked a lot like a Sabonis. He's hitting 2 a lot. Wow, these guys are taking a lot of time for their picks. This is crazy. These guys are thinking. And then as we start to develop the first 2 or 3 rounds, I'll get a gauge for who's going after what statistics. This way I could tell who's going for a punt, who's going for a little bit of a target, so that I know whether or not to rank a certain guy above a certain guy based on value. Jason Tatum goes 7th. I think that's interesting. Tyrese Halliburton 8, totally standard. I have Trey at 9, but like, after round 6 this year, 7, 8 plus, I feel like a lot of value drops off the board. So let's see who these guys pair. I feel like you need to immediately start going for like good foundational building with like a quasi punt if you're picking after 6. Because like after you get Giannis, it's like, you know, who else is on the board that's mega impactful? Okay, Anthony Edwards went early, kind of as I thought. Like if a Trae Young falls to me, I'm all over it. I think Trae Young has an explosive season. I'm so into Trae Young this year. This is a private league. Again, 10 managers, been playing in this league for 3 years. These guys tend to be pretty sharp, but this league tends to draft like a points league simply because of the 1-0 format. Again, you could win your matchup 9-0, same thing as 5-4. So this draft is going to look so much different than other drafts. A lot of these guys who have good numbers but are kind of good across the board are probably going to get dropped a couple rounds, which like maybe I'll be able to get Jalen. Let's see. Jalen Williams is a guy who might fall in a draft like this. And also let's see who could fall here. A Jalen Johnson and a Jalen Williams could be guys that fall to me like freakazoid, like maybe 5th round if we're being crazy. But wow, these guys are taking forever to pick, which is kind of good. Although it's an hour and a half. It feels like an hour and a half a pick. It's a minute and a half per each pick. So let's see how this all shakes out. For me, again, I'm just going for best player. Okay, Trae Young goes very, very standard. So for me, if a Steph or a Domantas falls to me, I'm going to be absolutely thrilled. If both of those guys go, which they probably will, I'm very likely to grab a Jalen Brunson consistency. I know he's not like a great player, but like I look at him over a Donovan Mitchell. I know you don't necessarily want to go for games played, but like frankly, Donovan Mitchell doesn't tend to have super healthy seasons, and you have a new coach coming in this year with a different pace. And I feel like he's going to take a little hit on his stats, and we shall see. I kind of want to fade a Donovan Mitchell in the second round if I can. I like James Harden, but not nearly as much as people love James Harden. I feel like James Harden is an older guy. I don't feel like he's an older guy. He is an older guy on a squad that has nothing to play for. Donovan Mitchell goes 11. Good. All these guys that are below my rankings, if Steph Curry falls to me, I'll be so pleased. That is such a good 1-2 punch, AD to Steph. Couple of old guys, but like, that covers so many bases for me. I'd be thrilled. Again, Steph Curry, Domantas, I'm thrilled. If I settle for a Jalen, I'm fine. And then maybe a Scotty on the turn. I'm not going to go exactly to my ranks here. I'm going to go a little bit build. I may even try to get a shot at like a LaMelo. I like Dev Book, but like maybe I take a LaMelo over him for those really good assists. I don't think Devin Booker has the same kind of assists that he had last year. You have Tyus Jones join the team, so I think he's going to grab a little bit of that assist number. Like maybe he gets 5.9 assists, maybe 6 assists. So I'm not like enamored with Devin Booker to the same degree as I was, as his stats reflect. Steph Curry goes, bummer. All right, let's see. Harden goes 13. I like that. I like that he goes 13. I'm loving it. I feel like he's a good big stat guy, but he's probably not going to go the full season, and he's going to be underwhelming in points. I really do like a DeMontis way more. Really good field goal percentage at okay volume. Decent points. Not great points for the beginning, but like to get those rebounds and assists in one player is absurd. It's hard to get that. And, you know, you do have DeMar DeRozan coming in. How much usage does he take away? I don't think a ton. I still like DeMontis here. I love Scotty this year, but like who knows what happens with Toronto. And I have a ton of Scotty Barnes stock in so many leagues that I feel like I need to spread my bets a little bit with the Scotty. So I'll really take as low as a Kevin Durant for my second and third round pick. Maybe De'Aaron Fox, but I don't want a De'Aaron if I grab a DeMontis. I don't love having two guys on the same team here, but let's see how we notch up. Let us see. Getting a lot of notifications on the phone from the group chat. Okay. James Harden, 13. Still sitting on the 14th pick. This draft is going to take forever. Joel Embiid, 14th. Very interesting. I'm happy that he's out of the way. Let's see who I get. I got a DeMontis. I got a Brunson. Let me cue him up. I got a 1 and a 2. Those are pretty much my guys. I'm probably going to fade a Scotty in this spot. I already have amazing rebounds to start with AD and blocks. So I don't necessarily need to bolster those statistics here. So, yeah, here's our order. A DeMontis or a Brunson, and we're going to act pretty quickly here. We're going to act pretty Emmanuel quickly here. Wow. Oh, I'd love a DeMontis in this spot. But if I don't get him, I don't get him. I'll have to really think about getting a Jalen Johnson in round 4 if I don't get... Okay, I get him. Wow, he falls to me. We just got to grab a Sabonis. I just got to grab him quick. All right, I got him in this practice that I had here in a mock draft, so I'll just rip my numbers directly. Quick moves, quick decisions. Ooh, if Jalen falls to me, I'll be thrilled. I don't think he is, but let's see. This is a good foundation. I like Jalen here because I want to start getting a couple assists. Actually, I don't need to drive myself crazy with assists because I have crazy numbers here. I need to start to get some points here. I don't want to go for a points punt in a league like this because there's still going to be a glut of big men late. I don't have to draft for rebounds for the next few rounds because I'm really in wonderful shape with my first 2 picks. So, Brunson goes. Of course he goes. Wonderful pick. Let's see. If a Book falls, I grab him. If a LaMelo falls, I grab him. If a KD falls, I grab him. I don't want to grab a Chet here. I can't take 3 centers, knowing that there's going to be a glut of centers in the end. He's a really good player for a standard 9 cap, but simply because this is a 1-0 format, I cannot OD in these stats. These are not rebounds that are impactful enough. I can't necessarily just go for percentages. Doesn't have that many assists, and the blocks I kind of already have with AD, and I'm going to be able to grab 2.3 blocks later on. I could get a Brook Lopez later on. Maybe he's a touch less than that blocks per game, but I don't need to go and sacrifice a huge amount of points to get across the board stats with blocks. I'm just not targeting blocks now. So I have my 3 picks here. I'm putting them in order. So it's going to be a Book, a Ball, a KD, then a LeBron, and I'm really not loving a Fox spot here. I don't love Fox, but like, let's tee Fox up, and then we'll tee up a Cat, and then we'll go Maxi. And I don't really want to go below the value of a Maxi. Like, I'm fading a Şengün here because I already drafted 2 center eligible players. I just don't need to go for those stats. But if I could get somebody with points and assists, I'll be thrilled. Like, a LaMelo's a risky spot here, but a really good spot. So he's kind of my next guy up on the board. It would be a 50-50 between him and Kevin Durant. It'll be a little bit of a thinker. I'd like to not go below the value of a LeBron, although I don't love pairing 2 Lakers, and I know my projections are mega Laker heavy this year. So I tend to get D'Angelo Russell, and I don't want to have too many Lakers on one team. You need a little differentiation so that on any one given night you could have the best player on the best team. Okay, Cat goes 19. That's good news. Somebody below my targets. LaMelo is a guy who I like because I'm getting mega volume assists, and he goes, great pick. Ugh, pretty much my worst case scenario here. Let me pick one more player just to save myself, and I think it's going to be a dollar Dame in this spot. So far, everybody's drafting really well, drafting according to how it should be. Yeah, I've got 4 guys teed up, and it is 4 spots to me. I'm fading Chet. I don't want to take a Kyrie here either. I don't think he's going to have the games played that I'm loving. So I'm going to fade him this round. Freak accident, maybe he comes to me in the next round. So all of these guys present exactly what I'm looking for, which is points, threes, and assists. So maybe we do go a Foxy here. It's like, do we go a LeBron or a Foxy? I feel like there's no way LeBron plays as many games as he did last year. And do I want to pair him with an AD? Kyrie Irving goes 22. Good. I don't even have to think about it. I still have my guys live. Okay, we've got a thinker here. I've taken Maxey in a few of these spots. I have Fox goes. So I'm between a Maxey and a Bronny. I'm Maxey in so many of these spots. PG-13 goes down. Embiid, who knows what's going to happen with him this year. There's no one player here who's giving me any one discernible edge in too many stats, like 2 assists per game from LeBron. Ugh, I got to think. If Maxey gets drafted, who do I fade? Wow, if Maxey gets drafted here. I think if Maxey gets drafted, I go a Dame. But I think this is a Maxey spot. I like LeBron, but once I take the value of rebounds away, he's not as appealing. Good percentages, which is a good foundation. Not great free throw, but I don't have like a great free throw build so far. 1.3 steals. It's probably going to go down to 1. It'll probably be the same as Maxey. I just worry about the games played here. I really worry about the games played. Let's see who he picks. I'm on a spot here. I'm probably going to have to think a little bit. So in order, it's probably Maxey number 1. Tee myself up. LeBron versus Dame. Wow. I get the free throws. Good. Dame goes. So I'm a Maxey spot here. I think he's going to have more points per game than he did last year. If not very close. And a good start to the season. Great assist to turnover ratio. Not that that's the most important thing. I think we're in a Maxey spot. We're getting 3 threes a game. You're not getting 3 threes anywhere else in a spot like this. So let's start to work some of my threes. I should go for a 3 punt technically, but let's start to scoop up some points. We could really use them. Maxey. And what's crazy is that's exactly how I drafted my mock draft before. So kind of my base case, which isn't great, but I've planned for this contingency. This still feels like the right draft to me. Points are not unbelievable, but it's an okay start. I probably want to grab a good guy with threes. And if I could grab an assist guy, which means I'm probably going to go for a Fred VanVleet. I'd like to see if there's a chance I could get him on a later round. The problem with the Fred VanVleet is that I tend to shy away from points, but I need to start juicing up points. Maybe if like Apollo falls to me, that's a good spot. Yeah, let's see how this draft progresses. And if a Chet falls to me here, I have to close my nose and just freaking take the value and, just not grab too many big men later on. So let's start to see who is shaping up draft-wise. Let's throw on the draft board. First 3 picks. We got Jokic, Durant, LaMelo. That is such an interesting build. Wow, that's an interesting start. Okay. That looks like a little bit of a somewhat punt block. So he's punting blocks a little bit, not necessarily punting steals because LaMelo starts off well in steals. Really good free throw. Still really good aggregate field goal. Threes are in good shape. The return has a very nice, interesting start here. Not sure why I went with a Kyrie, but that's good value. Wow, okay, 12-0. Is building a foundation of points, rebounds, assists, points and threes, points, threes, good steals. This is pure point guard city. See, like I mentioned, nobody's taking centers too early in a league like this. You'll see all the guards go, and then we'll start to see center play. So you still got to go pretty guard heavy to start the draft. All right, I take Maxey. So, what is my build? I haven't really made a build decision yet. This is a free throw punt 1,000 freaking %. So this is a free throw punt with good blocks, good steals, good assists from out of position guys. Actually, like really good assists. So this is a really nice build to start. I don't know what the hell this build is. Tatum and Embiid. I guess like really, let's see who he takes the third spot. If I'm him, who am I taking? This is obviously like crush it up assists. I don't necessarily want to compete with him in assists, but I'll be able to size him out immediately from the start with like rebounds. I'm crushing a guy like him in rebounds, and I could probably end up competing with him on assists to some level. Well, it depends who he picks. He takes an LP, so he's going for the big man stats too. So he's got his rebounds in pretty good shape. Chet, that's a really nice pairing there. It's a nice pairing to take a big man. Let's see if he takes any big men on the turn. Nobody's taken any of my targets. I do not love Lauri Markkanen this year. I think we're going for a Jazz tank. He's got an interesting build with obviously really, really good threes. That's going to be a fun start for threes for him. I think I just need to start ripping up points. I'm not going to be able to compete too much in threes against him, not threes in him. I'll crush him in field goal percentage to start, which is great. And a Paul George. Good value. A little early for a Paul George. Okay, we're coming in on the turn here. Let's see. Coming in on the turn. Bam. I think a little early for a Bam, personally. So if a Cade falls to me, I'm pretty thrilled with a Cade. I'll snap him up. I think I'm going to grab a Ja because of the points. So far in order, I'm a Cade, I'm a Ja. I don't know if I'm a JJJ here. Am I a JJJ over Freddie? Probably not, because I could use those assists. So I don't want to start punting assists here. I just don't. I don't think it's too terribly smart to start punting assists. And Freddie gets you a lot of ancillary stuff. So I think the real decision point here is whether I want to go for points, since I'm not super elite in points since I drafted Sabonis, which would mean like Apollo Banchero here. I think I have to take Apollo ahead of a JJJ in this spot, because I could replace blocks later on, and I'm getting more octane points, more rebounds, and more assists in this spot. Efficiency is not great, but he'll be as efficient on a field goal basis. He'll be technically more efficient on a turnover basis when it comes to assist to turnover ratio. And I don't think he's going to be so good in free throw, but I'm no Superman in free throws so far. But Cade would be a nice spot to me. Freddie goes. Okay, wow, this is high pressure here. So I think we have our 1, 2, 3 here. I don't know if I want to go with Jalen Johnson above a Jaren Jackson this year. Jalen Johnson could have a crazy steal and block season. So I think I have my decision made. I got my 3 guys picked. It's a Cade, who's probably my number 1 guy, so I could grab some assists. He's high turnover, but efficient enough relative to assists. I think he has a good season. I think he's got the highest upside out of these guys. So I've got my 3 guys teed up here. I don't really want to go grab a Jalen Johnson quite yet. I feel like it's a little bit of an early grab for a Jalen in this spot. Okay. Let's see who I get here. Okay, Paolo goes. Not unsurprisingly, Paolo goes. So far, really tight draft. These guys definitely know what they're doing. So I'm thoroughly impressed. Team Torbener, let's see what his team is looking like. Okay, wow, heavy on the assists. I cannot compete with him on the assists. But I think he may be over-optimizing a touch on assists. He's going to be neglecting rebounds, obviously, and field goal percentage. He'll be good in threes, but I'm not competing with just him. I'm competing with the field. Again, we're not seeing too many big men get picked. We have LP, which is solid. Bam, fine. Jalen Williams goes. So I've got Cade. Cade has literally fallen 0 times to me in this spot. I feel like he's a good balance with my assists, and it gives me every chance in the world to fight back here. So I think this is my Cade spot. This is his ADP. This is his rank. He's overall the guy. Big upside guy this year. Cade. Let's grab him. To get Cade in the 4th round, I haven't gotten a Cade this early yet, so this is shaping up pretty well. I think he should have a boost in his field goal percentage this season. So I feel good about that overall pick. I don't know how much he's going to get me in defensive stats, maybe a steal, but I have him projected for 25 and 8. He's one of those guys that has like that top 15, top 20 upside, so I'm vibing it. Also good on points, solid on threes, high turnover, but that just kind of is what it is at this point. I can't over optimize for turnovers. If I get a Jaren Jackson, I'll be happy. Let's see. I don't really want to go Bear in this spot. I really don't, but I'll take him ahead of Jamal Murray. And good. DeJounte Murray goes. I'm not loving DeJounte this year. I like DeJounte. I don't love him. I feel like he's a guy who's going to get like 1.5 to like 1.6, 1.7 steals. And then the rest, there's so much usage suck up on that team. He's not going to have the rock the same way he had in Atlanta. And he blew up when Trae Young got injured. You have to factor that in. He's going to have a very interesting season. I feel like he's going to be 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals. That limits his upside. There's a lot of rock that cannot get passed around on that team. I think DeJounte's an early pick there. Let's see how we progress. So like value-wise, I still feel like I'm a JJJ in the spot. Jimmy Butler is a terribly early pick. He's another guy who I think he's going to have almost identical stats to DeJounte Murray. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's going to maybe go 65 games this year. Don't love that pick at all. Thrilled that kind of got away from the draft board here. Okay, Rudy goes. I feel good about that, but now I have to worry about my 3 other guys going. Who I don't want to scoop here is a Jamal Murray. I feel like it's way too early for a Jamal Murray. I am more inclined to take a Zion here. Zion, I feel, is a really good pick. What he's going to do here is counterbalance any of my bad field goal percentage. If I could get Zion in the spot, if my 3 guys slip away here and I have a shot at Zion, I'm grabbing it simply because I have right about average assists, which will do well for me, and I will have unbelievable field goal percentage, which will give me all the mobility in the world to continue to draft some good 3-point shooters late. But, you know, if I do grab them, do I kind of want to go the route of, I don't think I want to punt assists in this spot. Let's just see how this pick comes to me. My team so far, let's see how we're looking. 3 picks to my turn. We're okay on points to start. Feel okay on points. We're okay on threes. We're doing well in rebounds. Obviously, I have 2 massive rebounders to start. We're doing okay in assists to start. Blocks, we're doing okay. Steals, we're average. Free throw, average. Field goal, average. I don't want to over-optimize for field goal free throw this early into the game. So let's see. Bane goes. Totally reasonable. I should pick up one more guy as an insurance policy. Okay, good. Siakam goes. I'm covered. I've got 1 of 3 guys here. Wow. So I feel like my order is a JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. Let's see if we can have an update. Any notes here? Any notes on JJJ? Hammy. Let's see. I don't know if he's going to start. Wow, Franz goes 43. Really bad value pick so far. So we're either drafting a JJJ, which will lock me up blocks, and I don't have to go, not lock me up blocks. This will give me a really good basis here. I'll get 3s from the out of position. A little low on the assist, but we're not getting that in Jalen Johnson either. So we're taking a small compromise in rebounds, but I don't need to over-optimize for rebounds because balance-wise, I have AD and I have Sabonis. So I don't necessarily need that 3-ish rebound differential. I need a player who's got crazy upside in steals and blocks with good points and good threes. So JJJ, I feel, is my guy here. So it's a JJJ spot or Jalen Johnson. Either way, immense value. Wow, I'm feeling good about my 5th pick here. This is sick. For Franz to go that early, really bad pick. Pascal, I think that's really early here. Let's see, who went? Wow, Zion went. So it's a non-thinker for me. This is a Jaren Jackson spot here. This just feels like the right spot for a Jaren Jackson. Not a huge points guy, but this is that guy. He's the guy in this spot. Here's a JJJ spot. Really good value for Jaren Jackson here. I've got a pretty fun build. This gives me plenty of flexibility. All right, let's start building us up here. With Cade and Jaren, I've got a lot of interesting upside here where I still retain my points. And I'm starting to build a little bit in the steals and the blocks categories. This could be really fun for me. This could end up being a really fun squad where I could still continue my efforts with points and some assists as we go into the later rounds. And, or do we want to start the punt now that we got a JJJ? Let's see who I could get on the next spot. If Jalen Johnson falls to me here, we scoop him up so fast that our head spins. So here's a couple guys that we're just automatically grabbing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is our cutoff. After Emmanuel quickly, I feel like there is a really steep value cutoff. I don't want to go take a Nikola Vucevic at this spot because I already have the center spot. I'm covered. If I want to grab a center late, I can do so. But the team in which I have now affords me the ability to start to grab some really high quality points and threes guys. And remember, in this league, this is all about stacking up the right categories. I may want to not do a soft pump, but leave out the big men until later on. I'm still going to not... The big men that I've been presented with have been no-brainers. To like take an AD, obviously. Miles Turner goes. Don't love the value there. Jalen Johnson, unbelievable value in that spot. Oh, wow. Let's see what his team looks like. Draft results, Team Torbiner. Wow, an FEV and a Jalen Johnson is a nice combo. And a Chet. He's kind of drafting a little bit like I am, where he's just grabbing value where he can. He's got a good block guy, really good assists and steals, really good rebounds and good threes from this position. Torbiner has a terribly interesting team to start off. All right, let's see who's got interesting teams and who's kind of not. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be a stressful round. This is usually the most awkward round. Derek White goes, solid pick. I need to start planning for contingencies. I want to draft for talent here. This would be a Vooch spot, but it's just very early for a Randall. Garland, very early for a Garland, in my opinion. Hopefully people keep making bad mistakes here. Don't want to... I still need to take value here. Mikal Bridges, Emmanuel quickly. Ooh, Jamal Murray's my last guy alive. He's a guy who I really want here. If I don't get him, do I grab I think I grab a Miles Bridges ahead of a Zach LaVine. Miles will get me pretty decent rebounds. Kind of make up for the JJJ spot with no rebounds. Not a lot of assists, so I want to start really strongly considering punting assists in this spot. I do have a Cade, which is kind of awkward. Kind of an awkward spot to start punting assists with a Cade, but maybe I could trade Cade and get some differential value here. I mean, I feel like we only have 2 IRs in this league too, so like getting a Kawhi in the spot may be a little crazy as well. Yeah, I have a feeling that Jamal Murray is not going to fall to me here. Watch, centers are really gonna linger here. So like, I don't think anybody's gonna take a Jared Allen or a Duren. A DeMar DeRozan, I feel like is pretty empty stats, efficient, but like no threes. I don't want to take a points with no threes with a guy who's gonna have a declining amount of points. So like, that's not really my vibe here. I like a Miles in this spot. There's a lot of centers that are just sitting out here. I like a Brandon Miller, but like, do I just want to grab a guy who's going to? Yeah, Miles goes, good value. Gets so awkward here. If I could get a Jamal Murray, I'm thrilled. I grab him quick, and I don't even think. If not, I think I grab a Levine to try to grab some points in a league like this where points are really starting to get scarce here. I could wait around, grab a Cam Thomas, but I don't know. I'm not obsessed with Cam Thomas the way people are. I think he's going to have an awkward season. Okay, it's getting awkward. The picks are getting weird. Okay, we got a Jamal Murray in the spot for round 6. I just feel like that's our value town. We grab Jamal Murray. We grab him and run here. Good. JMAL. Jamal Murray. Okay, I feel good about getting Jamal. I would have loved to get more value, but I don't think it gets as good as a Jamal Murray in the spot. I'm getting my points. I'm getting my threes. I'm getting... Okay, I'm not getting 0 rebounds. I'm getting solid assists, which I could definitely use. I'm getting okay steals. I'm getting okay out of position blocks at this point, and actually pretty good percentages with decent efficiency numbers. So, man, this team is ending up pretty awkward. It's still pretty awkward. I think I still need to grab small guys because the big men are going to remain. Let's see. Jamal Murray is a grab. I grabbed him there. I grabbed him right by the Murray. Guys are playing pretty well to start this out. I'm impressed. I am impressed. Okay, let's see how this team is looking out. Jokic, great start. KD and Murray, or KD and Melo, really nice start. Baines, solid. Really good threes, good percentages. And he grabs a Gobert, which competes super well with rebounds. Blocks are sizing up well. KD gets good blocks from kind of that out position. All right, Levine goes right after me. 12-0. Let's see how his team is looking. Let's see how we're looking here. So intrigued in who's going to fall to me at this next spot. Tobias, all right, Vooch goes there. This team is really interesting. SGA, Brunson. Let's see. Wow, this guy's just overloading, ODing on assists. This is so many assists. This guy's got assists locked up, but he's going to be hurting in the field goal percentage. Tyrese is actually really good, but he OD'd it. This is too many assists. I feel like you're wasted value in an IQ here. Good value on DeMar. This is a terribly awkward team. Not enough steals for as many assists as a guy like this has. I think I need to keep racking points, or I could rack points here. Wow, DeMar in that spot. Solid, solid, solid. He's got the back-to-back. Let's see who he has here. Let's see who I like. I like a Brandon Miller because he has immense upside. Oh, do I just take a Kawhi and stash him? I feel like I take a Kawhi and stash him. He's out indefinitely, which is really scary. Indefinitely could mean whatever. Leonard has yet to be. It seems the recovery take longer, 68, but an injury is continue to plague in this absence. People are still fading Kawhi aggressively. There will be a point where he's a no-brainer pick, but like, is he a no-brainer pick in this spot? I don't know. Brandon Miller, I feel like, is a really nice spot here. Who did I get last round? Jamal Murray. It's getting confusing at this point. So let's see who I want to pick. Still got to grab good value. I mean, I might have to squeeze up on a D'Angelo Russell. Let's see, where did I get DAR in my other... Oh, I was able to get him in the 8th round. Since I'm not super elite in assists... Well, I'm not elite in assists because Domantas Sabonis saves me. I'm up next. I think I want to take a Brandon Miller here. Do I think a D'Angelo Russell is going to fall to me? I don't think he will. So in that case, do I want to grab... would I want to grab another? I don't want to grab a Cam Thomas here. I think he's not going to be as good as people think. I don't want to grab a Simons here. I think, God, Portland's a cluster F. He's high, not super efficient assist to turnover. I still feel like it's really early. It's not great value for a D'Angelo. So I feel like I want to grab, I told you, big men are just going to slip. Or do I just take a big man? If I take a big man in this spot and I grab like a Duren at this value. Wow, this is getting confusing here. I feel like I take my upside and grab threes. My JJJ is an out-of-position 3 guy. I'm still looking okay on threes. So, Duren never, ever, ever falls this late. His average is a 53. I told you, my league, they just let these big men go. I could get those rebounds later on. I feel like I'm a Brandon Miller in this spot. Let's see where he is with ADP. Yeah, it's center, and then Brandon Miller. What I like about Brandon Miller is I think he gets me steals. Decent out-of-position blocks. Nothing for rebounds, but like, is this a spot where I want to grab rebounds? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. I still think the rebounds will be late there for everyone, so I could get those later. And I could get points that I just may not be able to grab later on. He's my number ranked guy. He's the number ranked guy after centers. I feel like he's my guy here. Miller is my guy. I feel like he's not going to be great in field goal percentage, but let's take him. He also has massive upside this year. Brandon Miller spot. Okay. Shaking out to be decent value. Nothing crazy is slipping here. That was my 7th round. We're on to the 8th round here. D'Angelo Russell goes immediately after by Devin Vassell. Yeah, he's got good assists here too. Not that I want to go full assist punt, but it seems like everybody is sopping up any high value assist guys. Wow, the assists have dried up immensely. I will be able to beat... Let's see who has a big man team here. There's not... Okay, this is turning out to be a big man team. I think I need to go for some big man stats on my next draft. Or my next round. There's too much value just sitting out here for big men. I still have good big man stats. This draft is getting sticky here. Ha 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 ha. Wow, this value, all value has been squeezed out. Huh. Fortunately, any big man that I have drafted thus far has multi-dimensional aspects to their game. Sabonis has unreal assists for a big man. I'm still liking the shape of my team. We're still shaping out to be pretty okay here. I think I should still continue to work these 3-pointers here. I think if I could do a combination of 3-pointers and big men that got good rebounds, I may be able to successfully soft punt assists at this point and start to accumulate a few blocks here. Let's see. Durham is taken in that spot. Pretty good value. I may have to squeeze good big man value in this spot. Would that be a Nick Claxton? I don't know. If I could take a Cam Thomas here, I may just take a Cam because it's almost a foregone conclusion to get really great points on the latter end of what is going on here. I think Cam's going to get snagged up here personally. I think he's a really interesting pick, but he's just so dimensional. He's one-dimensional. I think he'll have okay assists. He'll probably be closer to like 4 assists this season. But like, does he get to that 25 PPG? I don't know. Preseason, he's not been showing out too much, so not quite sure. We're getting sticky here. A guy who I don't necessarily want or need is a Josh Giddey. I'm going to fade a Josh Giddey due to my build. I have enough assists where I'm not desperate for... Sorry, I have enough rebounds, and I don't really need assists. I'm quasi-soft punting assists in that spot de facto. I could take guys who have good assists, but they must have good threes and good steals at this point. I can't take a guy like Josh Giddey who's just okay in rebounds and assists and middling in points. He won't serve me well. I'm better off taking a Cam, and Anthony Simons... a Kuzma at this spot, simply because I'm getting good rebounds with a guy who also gets me good points here and decent threes. I need to make sure I'm still hitting threes at this point. It's important for me to make this combination of... It's going to be a soft punt. I'm not going to be number 1 with assists. That's a foregone conclusion, but maybe I'll be like a number 3 or number 4, maybe number 5 in assists. Let's see. This has been the most challenging of all of my drafts. Michael Porter Jr. goes, not loving the pick. Good. I just want guys who are rated below my guys to start getting picked here. I do need to prioritize points. I need to still keep chipping away at points. So points at this point for me are super important. I need good combo guys. So like I need points with threes. And preferably across the board stats here. I don't necessarily want to go sniping for like isolation steals, isolation block guys in this spot. A lot of the centers that I am targeting are going to be available late. Walker Kessler gets drafted around this spot, around 8, but I think he fades to 9. I don't even think I grab him in the 9th. Our league is going to be crazy generous with the big men. I'm probably going to target like a Naz Reid too. Round 11 plus, simply because he is out of position 3s. He's only going to help my case for boosting 3s. All right, everybody's taking a really long time to think here. A guy to grab late here too could be an Isaiah Hartenstein. He's going to be on the shelf for 6 to 8 weeks, at least a month. Yeah, 5 to 6 weeks. He's going to be out. He's going to be out almost 2 months. That's so many weeks. But if I could get him second to last round and just put him on the IL, I think that's good value. But I'm not going to grab him before, simply because we only have 2 IL spots. Very important. If you start stacking up DMPs, you get in trouble early. And since this is a 1-0 format, every week counts so much. So let's see as we keep digging through here. I'm not going to grab centers here. This is still my round to get non-centered players. Maybe round 9 we'll think about it. But I do have 3 center eligible players, so it's not like I'm at short for eligibility. Let's see. Yeah, we're a Cam, we're a Kuzma. Who else do we want to take a shot on? We're definitely a Tyler Hero in this spot with points and threes. We're a Kobe White here. We're probably not as much a Drew because we really don't want to overemphasize assists. We just got to be realistic. Don't want to overemphasize assists. He's good across the board, but you don't want flat stats in a league like this. You want kurtosis. You want skew. Yeah, I'm good with not dipping below this value. I really don't want to take a Kobe White here either. I don't want to have to dip that far. So if I could get a Cam, I'd be pretty happy. If I could get a Kuz, I'm probably going to be 50-50 with a Cam and a Kuz. I want to think about a CJ McCollum here. But with DeJounte Murray coming into town, who knows? It's going to be a cluster after the first few months. I'm not... I think CJ McCollum is going to have a big drop in his stats. Okay, awkward part of the draft. We better hope we get some good points here. Better hope we get some good points. We need to really keep up with everybody in points in a league like this. Again, the rebounds will be there late. The rebounds will be there late, and I'm not dead in the water with assists necessarily, but so many of these teams just over-optimize for assists. Let's take a look at average stats. Like, I feel like I'm a good assist guy, and I'm way late on the spot with assists. Let's see how I'm doing so far. Field goal percentage middling, free throw middling. I'm pretty middling across the board here. That's the tough thing about a league like this where these guys are all points-based. I'm definitely going to have to grab blocks at some point, but I still feel like the value will be there late. 3 picks to my spot, and my 3 guys are teed up here, so I feel okay. I don't want to compromise myself and grab a Kobe too early. So a Cam is my guy. Yeah, Cam is my guy. Wow, him and Kuzma are my 50-50, but I need to think if there's anybody else I would want here. Like maybe a Poole in this spot, but like maybe a little too early for a Poole. When's Vassell going to be back? Maybe that could be my saving grace. That would be a round 9 for me, though. Vassell. Oh, we don't have the Vassell. Let's see if I can find some quick. Basketball Monster. See if we could find anything with Vassell. He's not for my round here. V-A-S-S-E-L-L. 2 S's, 2 L's. Injury. He's going to be 8 games. I have him injured for 8 games. All right, only a couple weeks. So Vassell, I think, is really good value. If I could get him in round 9. I still think it's a little early for a Vassell, but could he be a total game changer for me here? I feel like he gets good usage. If a lot of my guys fade here, I think I should go Vassell. He'll be good on points, good on threes, good on steals. Jalen Green, that is a terribly early pick. Such a bad pick. So early. That's crazy. And Walker Kessler goes... All right, so this might be a Cam Thomas spot for me. Like, if I'm right on Cam, I'm really right. If I'm wrong, hopefully I can recover. But I feel like this is our spot to just juice points. This is a huge point juice spot. Let's take our shot with Cam. This is definitely a Cam spot. This is a Cam spot. It's not a Kuz spot. It's a Cam spot. Homeboy's going to get what his... Oh, this is interesting. This is his ADP. This is his spot. He's pretty much the consensus guy to take here. Cam, thank you, ma'am. Cam Thomas. I haven't projected a 25 points per game. If he hits that, I'm in pretty good shape with my points here. Okay shape with my threes. Still hovering with assists, but I'm probably going to want to really start to think about rebounds in this spot. Okay. Free throw, I'm even above average here. I'm so surprised. I'm a decent rebounding team. Sorry, decent free throw team. Let's see what free throws look like. If I could get a Devin Vassell in my 85 spot, I think he's well worthwhile. Let's see, standings. Okay, very middling. Very okay. Very okay, okay. Good points per average. Rebounds good. I'm in within striking distance on a lot of stats here, which is kind of not exactly where I want to be, but let's keep... Oh my god, these are such early picks. God, there's no value in a freaking Kuminga here. Same with the Jabari Smith. God, this is just... They're leaving a lot of value on the board. I would be so inclined to grab a Kuzma in this spot. I'm getting good points. I'm getting okay threes, above average, and I'm getting above average rebounds, which is really good fit for what I'm going for, especially given the glut of good centers that are still available. There's going to be a couple decent centers for me to grab on the back end. Any big man stats, I could go as low as like even a Clint Capella. Once I go below a Clint Capella, I'm not too happy. So I think given the big men that I already have blocks decently covered with AD and JJJ and some okay out of position stuff. Let's see. This is shaping up to be a pretty good team for a league like this, where overdoing one category is probably the decent strategy if you could back it up with a couple good categories. My foundation is so good with an AD and a DeMontis. Not going full punt mode quite yet. Still need to work my points. Kuz goes. Good value for Kuz. I think Kobe White's crazy value for me in this spot here. And then round 10, maybe I'll look for a big man. But I'm still going to be going for a lot of my guards here. Vassell's interesting, but I don't want to start. Kobe White goes. CJ McCollum might be a vibe here. Drew might actually be interesting. Let's pick 4 guys here. 1, 2, 3. And maybe Brook at the center spot. If I get Brook at the center, it's kind of a really cool build because with him and JJJ, I've got those out of position threes. And if I could combine a Brook with a Naz Reid late, that could bode pretty well. The problem with these kind of guys is that, yeah, I've got threes out of position, and I've got blocks, which is good, but I'm lacking rebounds. I feel like for my centers in a spot like this, since I've already drafted a JJJ, I may want to fade a Brook. Let's see. Positionally, I'm okay. Wow, the Kuzma Kobe White combo is crazy good. Dang, that's a great combo for him. That's a really interesting combo for him. Zubac goes. I feel like that's early for Zubac. Wow, really interesting team here. This is just solid. Solid. Points are really strong here. Points are strong there. Wow, is this a Keegan spot? I like Keegan this year. But would I take a Drew? I think I have to take a Drew over a Keegan almost every time. So yeah, we're Drew over Keegan, but are we a CJ McCollum over a Drew? It doesn't even matter. Are we a CJ? Are we a Keegan here? Or do we just take our Vassell moment? This may be our Vassell moment. I feel like the value for Vassell has fallen so much where I'll just take him. I'll pop him on the IL to start the season. And I'm hoping that he comes back because they need him. Wow, that's so early for Jeremy Grant. That's such a bad pick. Okay. This is definitely a Vassell spot. Right? Vassell's only out a couple weeks. Let's keep doing more research here. for the start of the regular season. Fracture in his right foot. That's a freaking bummer. They're going to let him back slow. We know that. How much time do I have? I have 50 seconds. I'm thinking Vassell in this spot because this is where we're grabbing that. This is our big risk value. I think this is where we take our shot for a Vassell. Otherwise, we get like a CJ or a Keegan, but we're going to get just as many threes. This is where we're getting our combo that we just won't be able to get anywhere else. This is our shot here. I just don't know how long he's going to be out, but let's see, weeks. We're going to take a Vassell here. Unless he's out for like a very long time. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Let's take a Vassell. That might have been a really interesting spot for us. VASSE. That might have been. That was the make or break, I feel like. That's going to be either really good for me. Let's see. Start of the regular season. Recover from off-season stress fracture. Participate in non-basketball activities. He won't be updated until November 1. Meaning at a minimum, he'll miss the opening week. Plus, that's not too much. Stress fracture. Can we find any other data? Let's go to Roto World. Do we have anything on Devin Vassell? If it's a week or two, that's unbelievable value. Let's do research. A little late to do the research. I already made the pick, but let's see. Start of the season is not a big deal. He missed the final 8 games due to the stress fracture in his right foot. He's not done recovering from that surgery. He'll miss the start of training camp at the start of the season. Status would be updated over which I'm missing 5 games at that point likely and more as he works his way back into game shape. Could I have gotten him in the next round? Let's see. There's no indication how long he's going to be out. That may have been a crazy, ridiculously bad pick. That may have been a crazy bad pick. 85 is still good value. Let's see where he went in my big money draft. That'll be a good indication. Vassell, VASSELL. He went 94 in my big money draft, which means I could have gotten him maybe at the 94 spot. All right, well, that's going to give me the ability. People are taking terrible players. That's going to give me the ability to put him on the IL immediately and grab somebody off the waiver, which is probably going to be a Marcus Smart. I'm probably going to fade a Marcus Smart and immediately put Vassell to the IL. Dang, I hope Vassell isn't out too long. He's in line for a really interestingly good season if he's healthy. That may have been the death nail. That was either really good or really freaking bad. Mark Williams goes. Let's see. My team. Problem here is that my guards are not too rebound heavy. I may want to start to grab a rebounder here. May want to start to grab a rebounder here. Mark Williams is the same sort of risk as a Vassell. Probably a little more risk. Let's see. We still have a CJ. If I could grab a CJ here, I'll be fine. Keegan, good. These guys are all good value here. We'll have to really start to think about what we want here. I don't want to go a Bogdan. Once you get to round 10, I don't want to have to compromise on too much value here. I don't necessarily want an ED this early. I still think there'll be an okay rebounder for me late, a.k.a. an Isaiah Hartenstein. I can take 2 guys, put him to the IL. He would be around 12. Because I'm already getting pretty frisky and pretty risky if I take an Isaiah Hartenstein. End of a sell. I automatically have 2 guys riding the IL. Not super advisable. Okay, let's see how JW's riding along. Solid. He's probably got his eyes on a CJ McCollum and a Murray too. Solid draft. Points strong. And any place where the points are lacking, the rebounds are popping. Very interesting start. That's a good draft. That's going to be a tough team to compete with. Yeah, if Vassell is back and he does damage as the season progresses, that's a good pick. If he doesn't, I'm screwed. Let's keep working it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. Let's line ourselves up with 6 players. I only have 4 guys that I definitely would like to take here, but maybe we should line up a center or two. Early for a Dante, but I also don't think I'm going to be getting a Dante in the next round if I don't get him here. Keegan goes, totally standard. Let's see what my centers look like. Still have an Edie, still have a JV, a Nas, and a Yakov Pertl, and a late rounder for Isaiah Hartenstein and a Clint. These are kind of the bigs I'm going to focus on, but it's got to be around 11 plus. I don't think I want to grab an Edie this early here. Let's see. Don't think I want to grab an Edie this early. And I like a SAR a lot here. If I could get a SAR, if I could get a good combo with big men late. So I think I want to get like one more guard guy, 11, 12, 13. I want to get one more good guard guy, and then I could start to work some big men. So if a CJ is here, I think I snap up a CJ. That could be super interesting value. CJ's, like, I know there's a lot of clutter in New Orleans, but a CJ could be super interesting for me. Let's see, like, who could I have gotten instead of a Vassell? Could have gotten to Keegan. Thought a Keegan might fall to me here. Buyer's remorse on Vassell. Yeah, the value really dried up. Where it tends to dry up. Round 7 in a 10-man league. Brandon Miller, not in love with the pick. Let's see how we balance out here. And what's interesting, like I mentioned before, I get to bank the value. I get to bank the value of a Devin Vassell, pop him automatically to the IL, and pick up a useful player that I could either stream in or have somebody who just ends up sticking. There's a lot of guys who are super interesting, especially when you're this shallow. When you have 130 guys to pick from in the universe of the NBA, there's 10 guys who are just totally serviceable throughout the season. So CJ McCollum goes, not really the position I wanted to be in, but I would take an Austin Reeves in this spot. I think he's another guy who's going to be good across the board stats. Yeah, a guy who I could use with good across the board. If he goes here, I think I might want to jump up and grab a Dante. I think I'm going to fade a Brook. I'm going to fade a Brook. So, I mean, I'm quasi assist punting, so I think a Dante makes more sense for me here. 2 guys. It's a Reeves and it's a Dante. And, like, who makes more sense for my team? I feel like Dante has a touch. They have even upside. More efficient. Wow, very interesting spot here. It's a Reeves or it's a Dante. I don't want a Hartenstein here. Hartenstein's really interesting too, but I already have an injured guy who I drafted, so I don't want to go grab a Hartenstein. It's a thinker. It's a Reeves or it's a Dante in this spot for me. Man, Reeves is really interesting. Dante is also really interesting here. I don't want to go big man yet. I think round 11 I still have big man. Reeves goes, so I think that makes the decision for me. Dante, I feel like, is the right spot because we have a good combo of threes, an elite combo of threes where you're not really finding much threes here. Like, maybe I could grab a Dante in this round and grab a Clay in the last round and really, really gap a lot of my shortfalls here. Yeah, I like this Dante spot because I'm simply not getting him at 105, I don't think. I have Dante ranked pretty high. Those threes and those steals are pretty impeccable. I think he scores pretty well from good PPG this year. I don't want to fade this Dante spot. Will I get him in round 11, though? I don't know. I think this is a Dante and then an Edie spot if I can get Edie. Plenty of big men to pick from. Let's grab a Dante. Not in love with the value. Dante round 10. I've been getting Dante in so many later spots in the draft. We're tapering out pretty hard to wrap this draft. I'm just really hoping that Brandon Miller and Cam Thomas have huge seasons. If they do, I'm in pretty good shape. If they don't, I'm squadooshed. Even though I'm above my standard deviation in threes, and I'm looking decent in threes, and above my standard deviation in assists, there's just so many teams in this league that have gone OD on the threes and the assists, per example, on average. Threes, I'm still very middling. Assists, middling. But, I've got a shot here. Yeah, simply as I thought. Big men that are drafted, like Jonas Valanciunas is still sitting there. Could this be like a big man run in this spot? I'm not quite certain, but I feel as if in this spot for me, I do need to fortify my big men. Need to start grabbing some big men here. Buddy Hield, it's like, what are you doing? Ugh, just terrible picks. Terrible picks. Jonas Valanciunas, good value there. Let's see who my spots here. I feel like a Zach Edey's so interesting. A Yakov Poeltl is also really interesting here. Doesn't tend to play a bunch of games. Let's see if I could run some stats on a Yakov Poeltl. Players. Yakov. P-O-E. Let's see his track record for games played. Should have a good run this year. Let's see. 26 the year before. Oh, that was a combined. No, he seems to actually play games. We'll get good blocks, actually good rebounds, and okay assists from the center position. We're definitely grabbing a big here. Zach Edey may be a total game changer too, although combined with another Memphis player, not sure. Let's see. Yakov Poeltl goes anyway, so it's a thoughtless process. Zach Edey is a very interesting spot. A very interesting spot. Or would I take a Naz Reid? If Zach Edey does what I think he can do, I think this is a very good pick for my squad. Very good pick for my squad. I have good flexibility here. Yeah, Zach Edey is my guy who's ranked. So ideally, I'd like to grab a Zach Edey. If I could get a Naz Reid the next round, that'd be great. If I don't, fine. Tyus could be a total game changer for me here too. Let's see. If that's around 11, we have 12 and 13. I don't think I'm getting a Tyus in the next round. Clay's a last rounder. Fading Rozier. Sarr's a last rounder. I'm going to fade a Zinger. Amen is still there. Wow, this is another really interesting guy. Clint goes, not unbelievable value. I'd rather have an Edey in that spot. So much upside. And let's kind of fade the rest of these guys here. We're not going to go crazy and take these. Edey goes. That's a bummer. Now we need to think between a Naz Reid. I'm already okay in threes, especially drafting a Dante. I'm already not elite in threes. Naz is good, but like a Tyus is the guy. If Tyus can get 8 assists, which is actually kind of crazy, I don't think he does, that puts me right back into contention with assists. So I feel like he's a really interesting guy. So my two guys here are, Hartenstein's also interesting, but like, just no. I can't take 2 IL guys. If I take him, he's got to be a last rounder. Wow, we're down to a Naz and a Tyus, and I feel like Tyus is my spot here. Getting the same amount of threes, not getting you remarkable rebounds. You're still getting your steals. I'm okay in blocks. I'm not great in blocks, to be candid with you. I really would have liked to have gotten Zach Edey. Naz goes anyway, so it's kind of like a thoughtless process. Tyus doesn't get you a lot of points, but he gets you crazy assists and a good assist-to-turnover ratio. That could be my saving grace in a league like this. Let's draft a Tyus and see who we could get after. Composite rank. Yeah, Tyus goes late here, but I feel like Tyus has a legit shot. I'm Tyus all over this spot. Any centers that are blowing my mind? No, I'm down to Hartenstein with good value centers. Wow, the centers dried up. Okay. This is where I feel like I should... If I could grab a Sar, Alex Sar in the last round, I think I'm in good shape here. Not center eligible, but I do have 3 center positions, so I'm fine. I definitely want to start thinking about a Sar in this spot. If I don't get Hartenstein, you don't want to Porzingis because then you're guaranteed sitting till December, and he's going to be minutes limit. I think he's a fade. I think he is a fade. Tyus gets me right back into the thick of things with assists. Okay, kind of as I thought. I did want to go kind of point heavy, and I have a good foundation. I can make 1 or 2 good plays. Like, even if I add a Drummond, I'm right in the mix with rebounds any one given week if I'm going to flex during the week. In good shape here. Steals in good shape, surprisingly. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Blocks kind of fading a little bit. Why am I in good shape with steals? I guess I kind of did scoop up some good steals late, but... I guess I don't have any guys that are horrible in steals. Everybody's like right about 1 steal a game, which is good across the board. By committee. This is getting awkward, this draft. Amen, I think, is good value here. Oh, can I afford a Hartenstein in this spot? I don't think I can. I think taking Hartenstein's insane. For 2 IL spots, Hartenstein's insane. I may want to forge ahead with an Amen. That could be really interesting. There are also really big point guys toward the end, like a Jaden Ivey and a Keontae George. I can use points. That much I know for certain. And you've got like a Denny Advia who's good out of position rebounds as well. Let's see how I flow here. I like Sar a lot here. But I think I got to go an Amen before a Sar. Because if I hit Sar right, if I hit Amen right, I'm in crazy good shape. Crazy good shape. Caruso is nothing but a niche guy. This league is too smart to draft a Caruso. Too smart for a Caruso. Suggs goes. Whew, we are in the digs of this draft. This has been a rough one. Not loving it. Not obsessed with it. I feel like literally on Dante. Literally on Tyus. But the value they bring to my team is pretty good. Kind of funny going a rebound punt with Sabonis and Davis. Well, I may have pulled a few different levers in this if I could have. I waited, I think, a touch too long for elite big men. Definitely a touch too long for elite big men. Let's see. Not the ideal draft, be honest with you. Not feeling one hundo on this draft, and we shall see. My team doesn't really have the pop factor. There's no wow pop factor here. Big competition with this league. Wow, Bogdan. Very good pick here. Denny Advia, solid value. I still think there's a lot of good value just laying out here. Amen might be the dude. So I'm thinking about an Amen. But I maybe want to think about a little more points here. Can I fade into Amen and be totally fine? Maybe. But if Amen is absolutely outstanding, that does set me up well. If he pops like crazy, this could be huge for me. Somebody's going to get unbelievable value with a Hartenstein if they could just send him right to the IL. I mean, listen, I could grab a Hartenstein here since I am at such a deficit for rebounds. But then I have 2 guys who are on the IL, and I totally hamper myself here. I may be in a situation where I drop a Hartenstein, but even Hartenstein For a league like this, he's just not the dude. He's across the board value. He's an ad. He's totally an ad. He's not a draft spot here. We have an Alex Sarr. We have an Amen Thompson. These are my guys. A Smart, I think, is going to be the guy who I add off the waiver wire. And I like a Jaden Ivey a lot here. I like a Keontae too. These are guys that have really big upside when it comes to points, usage, and some assists, but just so inefficient, both of these guys. So I don't know if I want to take that dip in massive inefficiency. But this is high upside spot. You don't necessarily want to be super safe here. You want to get a little frisky, and I feel like people are sort of playing it a touch safe. John Collins. People are playing it freaking safe here. Love that Edie pick. Dang, that was the pick. Let's see. People are playing it safe. I can't play it safe here. If I miss a Thompson, can I be okay? I don't think... Will somebody draft a Sarr in the last round? Probably. And can I live without a Sarr? Yes, I definitely can. I think he's going to be good, but I think I just got to grab an Amen if he falls to me in this spot. So in this order, it's Amen, Sarr, Keontae George goes. That's pretty decent value. That is decent value. Okay, let's see who goes. No picks yet. I'm definitely not taking Smart in this spot. I think I take an Ivy over Smart simply for upside. Well, maybe I don't want to take a Smart in the 12th round. Still good value here. You even think Cameron Johnson's pretty interesting. I think he's a... Draymond Green goes. Okay, that's across the board value. No upside. You know exactly what he's going to get. Maybe Herb is the last pick. Kevin Porter Jr. I think is going to have a pretty good year. Clippers are a total mess. Beyond this, Lively I think is a good block guy. He's a guy who I may want to grab last round. Trace Jackson Davis, another last rounder. Reed Shepard I don't think gets enough run. Total niche player. We'll hold off on this. Maybe a Onyeka Okongwu could be a really interesting late rounder too if he just goes to me. Aside from that, I'm probably going to hold out on more guys. Powell, I think, is going to be really interesting here too. I think he's going to get good usage to start. But let's work with what we got. Amen's got that big upside. Amen's got really big upside here. We're grabbing an Amen. Well, there's just not that much ball to go around on this squad. He could be a really interesting dude. Standings. Yeah, not great in rebounds, despite having unbelievable rebounders. But I think I can fix that with certain players. Hartenstein goes, good value. Let's go for a big shot here. Let's go for an Amen spot. Whoops. Amen there. Who did I have before? I got a Tyus. I think I had a low-key comeback in assists. But with that came sacrifice. I didn't get any big men late. I optimized for big men early. Didn't get the big men late. I don't know. This just doesn't feel like a championship squad. Doesn't feel like the winning squad if we're being totally honest with ourselves. Doesn't feel like the winner. Good shape and points. Alright, you want to grab Sarr here. Good grab of Jaden Ivey. I think we want to grab Sarr and then immediately work somebody to the waiver wire. So I need to be quick on the waiver wire. If I'm not the first one to the waiver wire, somebody else is going to be quick in this league. So let's see. I definitely want to grab some rebounds late. I'm going to need the rebounds late here. Sar's the guy with the most upside, I think, out of this spot. So if I don't get a Sar, maybe I just go all in with a Marcus Smart. I think Herb Jones is just so flat. I don't think he does much for us. I think we grab a Lively. I think he's interesting. I mean, I even think we grab an Okongwu here. We don't know what happens with ATL. Such a weird team this year. Does Okongwu get it? I don't know. He's still so middling. 22 minutes a game. I don't think he's going to be a good... I'd rather have a Cam Johnson than an Okongwu here. Yeah, I picked the guys that I like. Let's see. I'm snapping up Sar. That's just the pick. I worry about Porzingis. I think he's going to be a luxury. He's going to be a luxury for the team that gets a bye. But yeah, not grabbing him. This team turned out okay. Middleton. I think he's going to have a games played situation. Porzingis. I like it, but it's just one of those things where you're just sitting on a liability. And when you don't have 3 ILs, you're just in trouble. You could get your team into a little bit of trouble here. We're leaning into the last moments of the draft. Let's see what we get. If I knew for certain that I could draft a Marcus Smart and grab Alex Sar off the waiver, I would do that, but I just don't think there's any specific guarantee of that. Alex Sar, I can't afford to lose. Marcus Smart, I can somewhat afford to lose. I've really recompensated my team with getting some assists and some assists and some steals in the end. I'm pretty eager for what Alex Sar may be able to do. If he brings what I think he could bring, I think he's the right piece to kind of round my team out here. Gafford goes. I don't love it. I think Sar is a guy who's got so much more upside than a Gafford this year. Frankly, I'd rather get a, let's see. Yeah, I'd rather have a Derek Lively than a Daniel Gafford. That much is for certain. Lively should have an interesting year. Let's see, what did Lively do toward the end of last year? Let's see what he did when he was really getting going. Take a look at some splits. Wow, when he got some run, that's not even big run. He's interesting. Low points, pretty niche guy, 2-category specialist. Let's leave him out of the mix for now. I don't need a 2-category specialist. Although, that's exactly what Marcus Smart is. But, Mr. Sar, give me some upside, Alex Sar. Let's see some fun stuff here. Alex Sar, preseason. See if you get anything fun here. 3 picks till my turn. Hopefully Sar's still there for me. 15, 12, and 7, okay. Block should be good. Assists, okay. Rebound should be good. I think he could be like a 15, maybe 16 and 9 guy with a block and a half per game, which I think is super intriguing. I don't think he's going to be super efficient. I think he may be somewhat high turnover, but we can afford that. And with threes in that added position, I think that can end up being really cool. He's going to be inefficient from the field, but I think they're going to give him run. 2nd overall pick. Super value. If I don't get him, I'm grabbing a Smart. Not grabbing an Okongwu. Trace Jackson Davis is also really interesting. I think I'm him over a Herb. So here's my guys who I've teed up. Sar. If I don't get Sar, I get Smart. If I don't get Smart, I get Trace Jackson Davis. I think Cameron Johnson's also a great, interesting spot this year. It's a wide open road in Brooklyn. I think if I was more desperate for assists, I would go after a Schroeder. Problem with Schroeder is that while he actually has really a good efficiency, his assist to turnover is awesome. Okay, Smart goes. Good. It's a thoughtless process. Just leave me Sar. Oh, leave me Sar. Oh, okay, you left me Sar. Good. Here's my Sar spot. Good. We grab him. We clean it up. Here's my projections on Sar. This is like, I feel, the biggest upside guy here. I even have him for 13 PPG. Wizards just suck. They're going to suck this year. They're going to give run. I have him for 13, 1.5 threes, 8.5 rebounds, which I think could be really, really good value given my starvation on rebounds. He could be almost a steal, 1.8 blocks, and middling field goal. Not going to kill me. Maybe not too much volume. We'll see. I think we're at a real, and his turnovers are going to be way higher than 1, in my opinion. But that's our draft. We did it. Let's see how we turned out. More across the board than I wanted, by the way. I'm really way more across the board. I didn't end up punting nearly as much, which was the philosophy coming into this. So I planned and I failed by not getting big men soon enough. So let's take a look. Here's where I feel like I made a mistake. I probably started to make a mistake on Brandon Miller. I could have probably grabbed a Jalen Durham, which would have been a pretty big game changer. But Miller's got that upside. Durham has upside too, but like I just feel like he's a somewhat limited player. Nick Claxton is a guy who I could have gotten to, but I feel like I was able to get those stats later. That was false. Maybe I compromised too early with a Cam Thomas by trying to grab massive upside. I feel like I took my upside shots here. Like if Cam could get 25, I'm in wonderful shape and I nailed it. But there's a chance that I missed out on that. There's a chance that that was my big mess up. Let's see who I could have gotten in that spot. Like a Zubac, maybe. I'm in love with better stats later on. So I should have drafted Cam. Maybe I should have faded a Vassell. And I don't want to grab a Mark Williams there. Reese Shea is a terrible pick in that spot. I think my mistake, ultimately it boils down to taking Dante and fading a Zach Edey. If I grabbed a Zach Edey, I think my team would have been composed a little differently. But you know what? Let's go to my team. The second I have a team that's actually there, let's throw a dude on my IL and let's make our pickup. Let's see who our first pickup is. Let's see who I still have on the draft board. I want to grab a Cam Johnson. If I could grab a Cam Johnson, that's my dude. So it's going to be in order. Cam Johnson. Russ could be interesting, but not terribly interesting. Drummond is my spot too. So maybe a Josh Hart out of position rebounds. Not Onyeka. Bilal Coulibaly. Let's let that develop a little bit. I think that looks like my spot. Maybe a Norm Powell. So I think we have to make a move ASAP. The second this draft is over, it is time to make an addition. Let's see. So yeah, we're a Cam Johnson guy here. There's just so much upside with a Cam. Cam could be really interesting. Drummond is probably a better fit for what my team needs. Okay, let's go here. Let's see once our teams are live. And let's see if I can add a Cam Johnson. C-A-M-E-R-O-N. This is a really good hedge. C-A-M-E-R-O-N. Oh. We'll wait 2 seconds. We need to be the first to the wire. This is over. Pretty mediocre draft. I give myself like a B minus C plus in this draft, especially given the structure of the league. I should have gone a little heavier on rebounds and blocks. I got cocky thinking I could get big men late, and I thematically was right. So let's see how we end up. The second we are good to go, we make our move. We'll keep trying this. No waiver wire in this league. Everybody's freely available. So let's try to make my ad if I can. Yes, and I can. So let's do this. Let's make a quick play. Put Vassell to the IL and immediately grab our friend Cameron Johnson. So boom, let's go to the IL. Right to the IL. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me now. Oh, come on. Go quick. To the IL. I don't think anybody's making a move this quickly, frankly. So let's see. Let's refresh this. Let's add Cam Johnson. Drop a no on. Hopefully this works. Click it in. And we are good. Boom. Okay, that's the draft. Good luck to everybody. The season starts Tuesday. That was rough. Let me know what you think. in the comments. Do we share the same sentiment? Where do you think I could have improved? Wish me the best of luck this year. This is a big money league, so hopefully we can make something happen. Good luck, friends.